আজ হাওয়া যেমন পাতায় পাতায় মোর মরিয়া বনকে কাঁদায় তেমনি আমার বুকে মাঝে কাঁদিয়া কাঁদাও গো আজ যেমন করে sound fine. Fine. This is all right. Thank you. Only I'll just sit on a I'll sit on a chair and I'll need a table. Chair. Okay, chair. Chair. Thank you. This is fine. I'm ঠিক আছে. Can I leave और खोलिए पीछे अभी ऑन करेंगे एक बूम आ रहा है इसको ऑफ कीजिए
मॉनिटर में आ रहा है बाद में भी आएगा शायद वो दिख लेना
ऑन है मॉनिटर रोल ऑन है कुछ हिला इससे कुछ दूर हाँ वॉल्यूम कम रखिए
ये तीनों चले क्वेश्चन हैं तीन दिए हमने तीनों के लिए तीन खाएं एक काम करो
या कुछ अमन जी
चलेगा दोनों दो
अमन जी यहाँ पे कुछ स्पार्क स्पार्क का आवाज आ रहा है देखो
बंद कर दो उसको जो ऑन से सब चलेगा तबला भी चलेगा इसलिए बोल रहा हूं मैंने दो कीबोर्ड के लिए काट दिया था हाँ तो एक जो एक्स्ट्रा था ना वो दे देता हूं मैं तो चलो दे दो
हाँ सर
मैं मोनो ले लूंगा ठीक है हाँ समझ गए
because this time the tabla will be I will be at the center near me the keyboard and the percussion off है ना वो हमको साउंड आ रहा है
वो नहीं आएगा मैम अभी
श्योर वो वहाँ से नहीं आ रहा है ना ये खोलिए फिर स्लोली खोलिए
ये देखो द टेबल में टेबल टेक ऑफ द टेबल
which takes this
which wood
no this will remain for the tabla na
so we'll take it
one no just keep it behind just keep it behind no problem I'll keep my phone because there's too much of movement also they will not be able to do if I need they're exactly the same layout
on
है ना, सुनो लाइट लाइट नहीं रहेगा। धीरे को आई तो all settled. Om Shanti. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends and well-wishers. I took upon myself the responsibility to conduct this musical memorial for my late beloved wife Joyeeta. 2 years back, on this date, at this point of time, I was myself struggling in a hospital bed at Sar Gangaram Hospital, not very far away from here. And in my hallucinating state, with oxygen here and catheter here, the only thing that was going on in my mind was, if my wife would get a proper funeral. In about half an hour, precisely 7:15 or so, my younger sister, Dr. Suchanda Bhattacharjee, came to my 5th floor room in her PPE kit and said, I have come back after completing the funeral. It was a very tough time in Delhi, every one of you know. And what was going on in my mind, how I didn't shed a tear, all of this, now when I think back, I just wonder, you know, we are very lucky. We have survived something where all of us thought, possibly, where is mankind going? I can see Mr. Lalaram from Delhi Police sitting there behind. He was the man who came to Gangaram Hospital and also went for the funeral with my sister, and next day went to Ganga also for the immersion of the ashes. So, 2021, and again in 2022, April 2022, I wanted to do a memorial in honor of Joyeeta, because after she passed away, we couldn't do anything except a Shraddha in a lockdown scenario. Last year, we couldn't do, because both my mother and my mother-in-law became very unwell in the month of April. My mother suffered a stroke, paralyzed, and my mother-in-law needed a surgery to insert a shunt in her brain. Believe me, even a week back, this April was again cruel. Both of them were unwell. My mother-in-law was in hospital, and my mother again suffered a stroke and on her right hand, and she cannot do it, but both of them are here. So I really salute the spirit of both these ladies. My mother flew from Hyderabad yesterday, and my mother-in-law was out of hospital 3 days back. But that's the spirit with which, we sort of came back to life. I am quite a social media posting person, so I kept on, communicating with everyone. Your love, wishes from here, from Bangladesh, from across the world. And wherever I go, I see, first few moments when people see me, they have tears in their eyes. So that was a point of time in my life that also taught me many lessons, because those of you know us, me and Joyeeta, we were a very happy, friendly couple. We used to move around in the social circuit. And to an extent, I was kind of leading a retired life from 40 years of age, saying that we'll be contented with whatever we have and happily maybe go on like this. Until this blow came, someone with no comorbidity, nothing, and someone who cycles, someone who doesn't eat the typical Bengali food that I eat, could, without any hospitalization, could go away like this. We lost so many friends at that same time. People have tragedies to tell that will last all of their lifetime. So this memorial this evening with music, I have planned it in such a way that, we have 4 sets of performance, and my young nephew from Hyderabad, he also does his stage performance, so he'll also sing for his late mummy. But 4 individual artists who have been through those months, or rather these 2 years, have always encouraged me to be beyond, what it is. So you will see that starting with a kind of an invocation and bhajan and tumri, go to Rabindra Sangeet, go to Indian and Western classical violin, best that Sunita does. And then my childhood friend from Haflong, who I have seen singing since the 1980s, he is also here to sing. So it's curated in a little bit way that would be very close to Joyeeta's heart. And wherever she is, I'm sure she'll feel very happy that you all are here. You all have encouraged. We have 4 former High Commissioners of India to Bangladesh, 4 stalwarts who have built this bond between the 2 countries, what Joyeeta worked on. We have a proof in Mr. Pradeep Gupta, who has been OSD to our former President Pranab Mukherjee all through his ministerial and presidential years, who saw how Joyeeta's entry into Bangladesh and strategic studies came, and how the former president encouraged her to get into this, despite having a PhD in nuclear non-proliferation. So this is what I wanted to just say as an introduction, because I'll be talking on and off. But I just wanted, before Amrita Datta Majumdar takes the stage, my sister Dr. Suchanda, to say just a couple of lines, because she was the last person with whom Joyeeta spoke after 10 days in the ventilator. When she came out of the ventilator, I think it was the 19th of April 2021. I last spoke or so, Joyeeta was on 12th April 2021. So we were in the same hospital. There was one ICU where I was here, in between there was another, and here she was. But I wanted to respect the privacy of patients, so I never went to see her. But my sister risked her own life, came from Hyderabad, sometimes in my ICU, sometimes in her ICU in her PPE kit. She was moving, and if she wasn't here, if she hadn't come, I don't think I would have also survived. So I just wanted her to say going. And thank you once again for sparing your time and being here with us.
It's a very difficult occasion to talk about. Anyway, I welcome all of you here. Most of you I don't know probably are getting introduced, or I know most of you through his Facebook post. I'm a very poor social media person. I never post anything. Don't get the time as well. But I welcome you on behalf of the Bhattacharjee and Joyeeta's family, because all of us can't speak. Yes, those 7 days were very difficult days, though I deal with death on a daily basis being a medical person, seeing patients on ventilator, going off. But still, when someone close and young goes off, it's very difficult to come out of that trauma. And those 7 days, I knew how it was. 2 people close to my heart in 2 ICUs. And then dealing with all those Joyeeta's cousins, 2 cousins were there with me, and then taking them and going through the funeral, and this guy not even realizing what has happened for the next 4 days and handling everything alone was quite a traumatic thing. Leaving my own family back in Hyderabad, my husband going to COVID duties, not knowing like when we are contracting. So, but one and that has come up in the medical big journals also. Yes, it's difficult to still look at her photo and speak, but I think we were friends and more than a sister-in-law. The one regret I have, she probably wanted me to call her Bodhi, but she was younger to me, so I used to call her Joyeeta. So I live with that regret throughout my life, that I should have probably called her that. And otherwise, very fun-loving. Whenever I was in Delhi or she was in Hyderabad, we had a good time. The last Durga Puja, she was with us. The last birthday, she was with us. Even her last words were with me. And that only it was on that day evening I felt that she's getting better. And that particular night only I slept without pinging on the nurses that how is she doing, because I knew it was at 2 or 3 a.m. in every hospital the nurses have a little slump, and that is the time when maybe the ventilator settings and all might not be looked upon, dealing on an ICU on an everyday basis. So I used to make a point to call at 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock every day in the AM to see that they go and check her once so that everything is fine. But that night I was okay that she smiled and she spoke to me. Spoke means she had a sign language. And I slept that night telling everyone that, okay, probably she'll come out. And then again in front, when I went in the morning at 10, in front of me only everything happened. But then we live with her memories in a good way. No, they are all very big stars, and we are all here to listen to her, and that way we will be remembering her throughout her life. Thank you once and all for coming here to pray with us. Thank you.
Thank you. So Amrita Datta Majumdar, she completed her PhD in music from Delhi University, and well, she's a performer regularly here and there. Teaches also at the Guru Govind Singh IP University, and so she's from Silchar. The person on the tabla, Bibakar, comes from that same hometown, Karimganj, where Joyeeta was a member of parliament. When his term got over, went back, and he happens to be from that town. Both of them were very close to Debu Chaudhary, Pandit Debu Chaudhary and Pandit Pratik Chaudhary. In fact, she did her PhD under Pratik Chaudhary. And it's so sad that in COVID, both the father and the son passed away. But they have been great friends and well-wishers. And on the harmonium is Zakir Bhai. His father is a very legendary Padma winner. You all know Mehmood Dolpuri. So they are going to start this evening. So over to you, Amrita.
जिस कारण आज मुझे यहाँ बुलाया गया है गाने के लिए, उसका वर्णन सुबिमल भैया और उनकी बहन ने आपके समक्ष रखा। मैं जोईता दी को पर्सनली पहचानती थी और वो संगीत के एक बहुत अच्छे समझदार और जानकार थे। मैं अपने गायन के माध्यम उनके प्रति अपनी भक्ति श्रद्धा को निवेदन करूंगी। मुझे यहाँ आज भजन गाने के लिए सुबिमल भैया ने बताया। मैं समय को देखते हुए कुछ भजन आपके समक्ष गा रही हूँ। नमस्कार। साउंड का एक बार प्लीज देख लीजिए, एक साउंड एक्स्ट्रा आ रहा है। हरि तुम हरि तुम्हारो जना की पीर, हरि जानकी भीड़ हरि तुम्हारो जानकी पीर हरि तुम्हारो जानकी भीर हरि तुम्हारो जानकी पीर हरि तुम्हारो जानकी पीर हरि तुम्हारो जानकी पीर हरि तुम्हारो जानकी भीड़ द्रौपदी की लाज राखी द्रौपदी की लाज राखी तुरत बढ़ायो चीर तुरत बढ़ायो ओ चीर हरि हरो जानकी भीड़ हरि तुम्हारो जानकी भीड़ भगत कारण रूप नर हरि भगत कारण रूप नर हरि धर्यो आप शरीर धर्यो आप शरीर हिरण्याकुश मार दीनो हिरण्याकुश मार दीनो धर्यो नाहिन धीर धर्यो नाहिन धीर हरि तुम्हारो जानकी पीर हरि तुम्हारो जानकी भीड़ हरि तुम्हारो जानकी पीर हरि तुम्हारो जानकी डूब तो गज राज राख्यो डूब तो गज राज राख्यो कियो बाहर नीर कियो बाहर नीर दासी मेरा दासी मेरा लाला गिरा थर दासी मेरा लाला गिरा धरा चरण कमला परसी चरण कमला परसी हरि तुम्हारो कभी कभी हम लोगों को भगवान ही बचाते हैं। तो ये जो आवाज़ की डिस्टर्बेंस थी, जब मैं गा रही थी उसको मैंने ध्यान नहीं रखा। अपने रियाज और जिनके लिए मैं गा रही हूँ उनको मैंने याद किया। थोड़ा सा फिर भी साउंड का देख लीजिए, बाकी परफॉर्मेंस ठीक हो। नमस्कार। Should I start or wait? ये माइक थोड़ा अगर ऑन कर दे तो मैं तानपुरा में गया। मायरी 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 मैं तो गिरधर के घर जाऊं, मायरी मैं तो गिरधर के घर जाऊं। उनकी मेरे उनकी मेरे उनकी प्रीत पुराने मेरे उनकी प्रीत पुराने उन बिन कछु नाहि चाहो उन बिन कछु नाहि चाहो रे उन बिन कछु नाहि चाहो रैन पड़े तब ही उठ बैठो हो रैन पड़े तब ही उठ बैठो होत भोर जो पहनावे सोई पहनो जो पहनावे जो पहनावे सोई पहनो जो देवे सोई खाओ जो देवे सोई खाओ बैठावे उत ही बैठो जेत बैठावे उत ही बैठो बेचे तो बिक जाऊं माई रे मैं तो बेचे तो बिक जाऊं मीरा के प्रभु गिरधर नागर मीरा के प्रभु गिरधर नागर बार बार बलि जाओ रे मायरे मैं तो बार बार बलि जाओ रे मायरे मैं तो गिरधर के घर जाऊं मायरे मायरे मैं तो गिरधर के गिरधर के घर जाऊं सुमिरन मेरे मना सुमिरन कर ले मेरे मना तेरी बीती उम्र हरि नाम बिना तेरी बीती उम्र हरि नाम बिना सुमिर मेरे मना सुमिरन कर ले मेरे मना तेरी बीती उम्र हरि नाम बिना सुमिरन कर ले मेरे मना तरवार फल बिना वैसे प्राणी हरि नाम बिना सुमिरन कर ले मेरे काम क्रोध मद लोभ निवारो काम क्रोध मद लोभ निवारो 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 काम क्रोध मद लोभ निवारो छाड़ दे संत जना छाड़ दे संत जना कहे नानक शाह सुनो भगवंता कहे नानक शाह सुनो भगवंता इस जग में नहीं कोई अपना सुमिरन कर ले मेरे मना सुमिरन कर ले मेरे मना तेरी बीती उम्र हरि नाम बिना सुमिरन कर ले मेरे मना सुमिरन कर ले सुमिरन कर ले सुमिरन कर ले मेरे मना शुभिमल दा एक लास्ट जस्ट 2 मिनट का ये बहुत एक प्रसिद्ध ठुमरी है। ये मैं इसलिए गा रही हूँ, इसकी 2 मीनिंग है। एक है जब किसी लड़की की विदा होती है तो डोली उठाने के लिए 4 कंधे चाहिए, और जब हम लोग शव को उठाते हैं तभी भी 4 लोग चाहिए होते हैं। तो ये एक सूफियाना अंदाज है इसका। मैं इस ठुमरी के साथ अपने कार्यक्रम के अंत करना चाहूँगी। बाबुल मोरा रे नैहर छोटो जाए नैहर छूटो ही जाए नैहर छूट ही जाए बा जाए नहीं हर छोड़ो जाए नहीं हर छोड़ो जाए नहीं हर जाए नहीं हार छूटो नहीं हार छूटो ही जाए नहीं हर छोटो छोटो नहीं हर छोटो ही जाए नहीं हर छोटो ही जाए चार कहार मिले चार कहार कहार मिले मोरी डोली या उठा अपना बेगाना छोटो रे छोटो रे जाए नहीं हर छोटो ही जाए जाए नहीं हर छोटो ही जाए जाए नहीं हर छोटो ही जाए नहीं हर छोटो ही जाए नहीं हर छोटो नहीं हर छोटो ही जाए बाबूल नहीं हर छोटो ही जाए जाए नहीं हर छोटो 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 ही
Thank you, Amrita. This was splendid. Knowing you and the effort you have done, you know, I don't have words to thank all three of you. Thank you, Vivakar. Thank you, Zahid Bhai. You know, as I said, we have 4 artists here. And all four have a theme which circles around Joyeeta. So this was Barak Valley, from where, we belonged. The next, or Barak Valley was her childhood, graduation, PhD, everything. The next comes to the professional life, where I just mentioned about Bangladesh. We got married in 2001. Then after that, she was asking me, should I join the PhD? Would you be okay? I said, of course, it's your call. So in 2006, she finishes her PhD, and as I mentioned earlier, Ma, nuclear proliferation, everyone can work. It possibly still is something elitist. You are the daughter of Nipati Chaudhary, who has worked on the field, who has worked so much when Bangladesh was formed, that particular war. So, my father-in-law became a member of parliament in 1972. At the age of 35, he was in Rajya Sabha. All because the kind of work he did in southern Assam there. So Pranab Mukherjee said, Ma, you should work on India-Bangladesh relationship. That's a very critical relationship that we have. And that's something that not everyone will study. So you go into this, and that's where Joyeeta's story in ORF started. Mr. Sanjay Joshi, the chairman of ORF, is here. He has been always a member of parliament, who did exemplary work, was very affectionate even to me. So my father-in-law and Pranab Mukherjee decided that Bangladesh is something that she will study. The relationship, people to people, at the strategic angle. So almost everything, that's what she studied. And so our next singer here is a very graceful Shama Rahmandi. She's Mahrukh Akbar, ready for the Eid festival. So she came here specifically for Joyeeta. Her children have come from abroad in Bangladesh, but she says, I must come. So I can't thank her enough for being here. We also have the Deputy High Commissioner from Bangladesh to India, Nurul Islamda and Babi here. Unfortunately, the High Commissioner is afflicted with COVID at this stage. But before Shamadi comes with her, and as her artists set the stage, I just wanted 2 minutes of words from our High Commissioners in Bangladesh, who have been very affectionate to Joyeeta. I'm really honored, blessed, privileged that we have Mr. Deb Mukherjee here. We have Mr. Pinak Chakravarti here. We have Ambassador Pankaj Saran here, and we also have Ambassador Riva Ganguly Das here. I also have, as I mentioned, Pradeep Gupta ji here. So may I request, you to just come and say 2 words if you want to say it when they set up the whole stuff. So may I ask to start with Rivadi first? Didi.
Good evening to all of you. Subimal, what a wonderful way to celebrate Joyeeta's life, short though it was. I got to know Joyeeta during my public diplomacy days in the Ministry of External Affairs, which was in 2012 actually. We used to do a lot of work with think tanks, and I got to know Joyeeta. because I follow Bangladesh, so one would always read what she was writing. And once I quite often. And Joyeeta actually used to do a lot of field work. She used to go to the border areas and she could feel the pulse of the people. So that kind of input that she gave was always very useful. There are many things she would often talk to me about which we would not really find in any written work. I really worked very intensely with her for the Dhaka Global Dialogue in 2019. She came to Dhaka, and I think this is really in keeping with her spirit. She was very lively. I would call her a girl. She used to call me Rivadi all the time. And we fondly remember her, and I'm sure wherever she is, she's smiling and thanking you for arranging this wonderful evening with her friends, and what a lovely musical tribute to her. Thank you.
Thank you, Didi, for your kind words. May I request Ambassador Pinak Chakravarti? You know, she used to run to him whenever she used to be tensed. That much I knew, but he knows far much more about how he motivated her with a lot of the academic and diplomatic punch in those writings that she used to do. And Ambassador Chakravarti was to be in Odisha today, but God kept him here to be present with us. So I'm really honored.
Thank you, Subimal. Good evening, friends. I think I met or came to know of Joyeeta during my, when I was still in the ministry. And as Riva just mentioned, doing public diplomacy, we worked together on that. And I think that's how we came into touch with ORF. And later, little did I know that I would be joining ORF to spend some time there. And that's where I really came to know her. And what always struck me was her infectious laughter. And of course, she was culturally very active, a very fine dancer. And then she would come to me with all kinds of ideas. And I was also kind of writing about Bangladesh and other things. And she was concentrating on Bangladesh. So she would come to me and say, look, I want to write about this or that, and various things, and we would discuss. And then she would produce those very fine papers that she wrote on India, Bangladesh, and various issues there. So that is how I used to meet Joyeeta, we used to discuss. I did my work, she did hers, but our works writings were, overlapped a bit sometimes, and then we used to discuss how to analyze things. And as Riva said, she used to travel a lot and came and told me about various incidents, various people she met at different, in the border areas and other places. And that was always very useful because that used to be the ground level information that she would give me while I was sitting here in, as you may say, is in an ivory tower or something. So that is how I know Joyeeta. And I still can't believe that she's not with us, frankly. And wherever she is, I'm sure she's happy and looking at what we are doing today. And thank you, Subimal, for the wonderful tribute that you have arranged. And we will always remember Joyeeta.
So Ambassador Chakravarti, me, Joyeeta, once in Paris, in front of Eiffel Tower, we stood and sang Rabindra Sangeet, Akash Bora Surjo Tara. You remember, sir? That was fantastic. I think it was in 2016. Ambassador Pankaj Saran, our former Deputy National Security Advisor, Ambassador to Russia, High Commissioner to Bangladesh, Ma'am Preeti Saran, she's also here. Sir has been also very affectionate to her, and every time she used to tell me about the transformational role in the relationship, how sir also played it. And now sir has also been very affectionate to me. He just started a lovely research organization called NetStrat, and just the first volume was published, so I also happened to write this. So I'm so honored, sir, you are here. So maybe 1 or 2 lines.
Well, thank you very much, Subimal. It's a very, very special moment to be part of your very personal life and to celebrate Joyeeta. I must confess, I didn't know her as well as the others. I had heard a lot about her, and I had only one meeting with her in my office 2-3 years ago, and it was an excellent meeting. She was full of energy, full of ideas, passionate about Bangladesh, and as you said, full of the love for her professional work. And I can well imagine the conversation that must have taken place between her and the former president, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, because he played such a key role in the relationship. So I think it's really marvelous that you've collected so many near and dear ones. And when she left us, I couldn't believe it that this had happened, because I'd just met her a few months ago. So I join you and the members of the family and the rest of the friends to pay our love and tribute to her and for all the work she has done on Bangladesh. And I must say, you are also continuing the wonderful traditions that she set, not just in terms of her professional excellence, but also in terms of the human qualities that we are seeing today as manifested in your own personality. So thank you very much, Subimal, and it's a wonderful, wonderful occasion to pay tribute and to think about all the good things that she did, and all the good things that she has left behind for us to continue to pursue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pradeepji, I just wanted you just 2 lines, because you have seen so many things which silently she used to do, but we.
Thank you, Subimal. Good evening, everybody. First encounter I had with Joyeeta and Subimal was way about 18, 19 years ago at the residence of Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, because Joyeeta's father was Sir's colleague in Assam, and he had fond memories of his association with her father. Then she was exploring, and she was what should she do here in this Delhi writing or involving in some academic pursuits. So this Bangladesh issue came up, and she started pursuing that subject. She discussed with Sir also, and he liked, and thereafter you all know that journey. Subsequently, I became JS Border Management in MHA. And I had 2 interactions or 3 interactions when we were planning some initiatives like Border Heart, etc. We discussed with her. So we had that memory, and suddenly when I learnt about the demise of Joyeeta, it was stunning and shocking to me. And I still am not able to believe that she's not amongst us. God bless her soul, and we all pay tribute to her today evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. They're almost ready, but we have spoken about Bangladesh from one side, but we have the Deputy High Commissioner of Bangladesh here, so I'll tell Nurulda to just and the last word, sir, if you are comfortable, Ambassador Deb Mukherjee, please. Otherwise, I can come with the mic there.
Thank you, Subimal, for inviting us to the musical memorial dedicated to Joyeeta. In fact, I met Joyeeta before meeting Subimal. In 2017, when Joyeeta Di was attending a program in New York, where I met her, she was attending the program on Bangladesh. I was so impressed to see her passion for Bangladesh-India relations. On top of that, her pleasant demeanor, infectious laughter, and charming personality. No one could miss it. In 2021, just a few days before she got COVID, I met her in our National Day celebration. We spent quite some time and having conversation on a host of issues. In fact, we lost a great friend we lost a great friend of Bangladesh. We will remember her. We join you to pay tribute to the memory of Joyeeta Di. I thank you all.
Thank you. Well, the last public reception or gathering that she went to was on 31st March 2021 in the Bangladesh High Commission. And I hadn't accompanied her. And a lot of colleagues of Nurulda had called me late in the evening. Apni ashlen na, didi to achen. So it was too late, I didn't go. And, she came and said, you missed everything. Shondipda is there, Shondipda and Bodhi, I think she spent a lot of time that evening there in the High Commission along with Nurulda, Bodhi. Sir, would you be comfortable or should I? And then we'll go to Shama Rahman. I'll go.
Thank you, Subimal. Of all of us here, my association with Joyeeta was probably the shortest. I don't recall where we met first. It may have been at a reception in the Bangladesh High Commission, because I have not been, since I retired over 20 years ago, in what you would call the think tank circuit. But somehow she showed an interest in my thinking on Bangladesh and was good enough to send me not only her own writings, but whatever else appeared in the ORF, she would share with me, and we would occasionally share notes. What I admired about Joyeeta was that she was looking at issues every time afresh, with a fresh look, because generally, even the experts among us, we tend to go by some preconceived notions. Joyeeta, I don't think, ever did that. And I will treasure the afternoon where she said, we met somewhere, and she said, look, I need to pick your brains. I said, come over. And I will treasure the afternoon that she spent at our home with a very long discussion, a very frank discussion, which I would not repeat here, on how our relationship between the two countries, Subimal is nodding, perhaps she told him, how our relationship with the two countries can and should be taken forward. I will treasure that meeting. I was absolutely devastated when I heard of her departure. It was untimely. It was not fair. And I admired the fortitude with which Subimal has borne up to his loss. And this very splendid gathering that he has organized this evening in her memory. Thank you, Subimal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming with me. So now it's over to Shamadhi, and along with her, we are also having Binod Rai Das in the keyboard. He has also come from Dhaka. So, Shamadhi. Shamadhi, as illustrious she is with the Rabindra Sangeet and the grace, that pervades every time I hear her singing. But along with that, her mother has also played a very important role. She was a member of parliament for a long, long time, very close to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, and right from the birth of Bangladesh, her family has worked really hard, even in this relationship that we all value and we think is culturally, emotionally, every way tied. So I don't want to say more, Shamadhi. You have lots to say, so over to you. Thank you. And thank you for coming on my call.
শুভ সন্ধ্যা। আজকের এই অনুষ্ঠান একটি চমৎকার একটি অনুষ্ঠানে আমাকে গান গাইতে আসতে বলার জন্য আমি সুবিমল দাকে ধন্যবাদ জানাই। I really feel honored to be here this evening. আর যার জন্য গান গাইতে এসেছি তাকে আমি চিনতাম না, তবে তার সম্বন্ধে অনেক কিছু জেনেছি এবং বাংলাদেশের অনেক বড় বন্ধু। তো আজকে as we are celebrating her life, I would like to sing a few রবীন্দ্রসঙ্গীত। প্রথম গানটি একটি পূজা পর্বের গান, একটি প্রার্থনার গান। আমরা সবাই মিলেই প্রার্থনা করি জয়িতা ভট্টাচার্যের জন্য। আমার আন্তরিক শ্রদ্ধা এবং ভালোবাসা। ধায় যেন মোর সকল ভালোবাসা, প্রভু তোমার পানে, তোমার পানে, তোমার পানে যায় যেন মোর সকল গভীর আশা, তোমার কানে তোমার কানে তোমার কানে চিত্ত মম যখন যে থাকে সারা যেন দেয় সে তব ডাকে যত বাঁধন সব টুটে গো যেন প্রভু তোমার টানে তোমার টানে তোমার টানে ধায়ে যেন মোর সকল ভালোবাসা প্রভু তোমার পানে তোমার পানে তোমার পানে বাহিরের ভিক্ষা ভরা থালি এবার যেন নিঃশেষ হয় খালি অন্তর মোর গোপনে যায় ভোরে প্রভু তোমার দানে তোমার দানে তোমার দানে হে বন্ধু মোর হে অন্তর তর এই জীবনে যা কিছু সুন্দর হে বন্ধু মোর হে অন্তর তর এই জীবনে যা কিছু সুন্দর সকলি আজ বেজে উঠুক সুরে প্রভু তোমার গানে তোমার গানে তোমার গানে ধায় যেন মোর সকল ভালোবাসা প্রভু তোমার পানে তোমার পানে তোমার পানে মনে কি দ্বিধা রেখে গেলে চলে, সেদিন ভরা সাজে যেতে যেতে দুয়ার হতে কি ভেবে ফেরালে মুখখানি, কি কথা ছিল যে মনে মনে মনে, কি দ্বিধা রেখে গেলে চলে। তুমি সে কি হেসে গেলে আখি কোণে, আমি বসে বসে ভাবি নিয়ে কম্পিত হৃদয়খানি, তুমি আছো দূর ভুবনে, মনে কি দ্বিধা রেখে গেলে চলে। আকাশে উড়েছে বকপাতি বেদনা আমার, তারি সাথে আকাশে উড়েছে বকপাতি বেদনা আমার, তারি সাথে আকাশে উড়েছে বারে কত মায় সুধা বারে চাই বিদায় কালে, কি বলো নাই বারে কত মায় সুধা বারে চাই বিদায় কালে, কি বলো নাই সে কি রয়ে গেল গো সিক্ত জ্যোতির গন্ধ বেদনে, মনে মনে কি দ্বিধা রেখে গেলে চলে, সেদিন ভরা সাজে যেতে যেতে দুয়ার হতে কি ভেবে ফেরালে মুখখানি, কি কথা ছিল যে মনে মনে মনে, কি দ্বিধা রেখে গেলে চলে। আমরা আসলে অনেক কিছুই মনের মধ্যে আমাদের ইমোশনস থেকে যায়, কিন্তু রবীন্দ্রনাথের কথা গান দিয়ে অনেক সহজে আমরা বলতে পারি। পথে চলে যেতে যেতে কোথা কোনখানে তোমার পরশ আসে, কখন কে জানে, কখন পথে চলে যেতে যেতে কোথা কোনখানে তোমার পরশ আসে, কখন কে জানে, কখন পথে চলে যেতে যেতে। কি অচেনা কুসুমের গন্ধে, কি গোপন আপন আনন্দে, কি অচেনা কুসুমের গন্ধে, কি গোপন আপন আনন্দে, কোন পথিকে কোন গানে তোমার পরশ আসে, কখন কে জানে, কখন পথে চলে যেতে যেতে। সহসা দারুণ দুঃখ তাপে সকল ভুবন যাবে কাঁপে, ভুবন যাবে কাঁপে, সকল পথের ঘোচে চিহ্ন, সকল বাঁধন যাবে ছিন্ন, মৃত্যু আঘাত লাগে প্রাণে, তোমার পরশ আসে, কখন কে জানে, কখন পথে চলে যেতে যেতে, পথে চলে যেতে যেতে। আরেকটি প্রার্থনার গান গাইছে। আমরা সবাই প্রার্থনা করি জয়িতা ভট্টাচার্য যেখানে আছেন ভালো থাকবেন এবং আজকের এই অনুষ্ঠান নিশ্চয়ই তার ভালো লাগবে। সকাতরে ওই কাঁদিছে সকলে, শোনো শোনো পিতা কহ কায় কানে কানে শোনাও প্রাণে প্রাণে মঙ্গল বারতা কহো কানে কানে শোনাও প্রাণে প্রাণে মঙ্গল বারতা কহো কানে কানে শোনাও প্রাণে প্রাণে মঙ্গল বারতা ক্ষুদ্র আশা নিয়ে রয়েছে বাঁচিয়ে সদাই ভাবনা যা কিছু পায় হারায় যায় না মানে সান্ত্বনা দুঃখ আসে দিশে রে মরিচিকা ধরিতে চায় এ মরু প্রান্তরে মরিচিকা ধরিতে চায় এ মরু প্রান্তরে মরিচিকা ধরিতে চায় এ মরু প্রান্তরে ফুরায় বেলা ফুরায় খেলা সন্ধ্যা হয়ে আসে কাঁদে তখন আকুল মন কাঁপে তরাসে কাঁদে তখন আকুল মন কাঁপে তরাসে কাঁদে তখন আকুল মন কাঁপে তরাসে কি হবে গতি বিশ্বপতি শান্তি কোথা আছে তোমার দাও আশা পুরাও তুমি এসো কাছে তোমার দাও আশা পুরাও তুমি এসো কাছে তোমার দাও আশা পুরাও তুমি এসো কাছে সকাতরে ওই কাঁদিছে সকলে শোনো শোনো পিতা কহো কানে কানে শোনাও প্রাণে প্রাণে মঙ্গল বারতা সবশেষে আরও তিনজন শিল্পী আছেন তো আমি সবশেষে একটি গান করছি আপনারা সবাই আমার সঙ্গে গাইলে খুশি হব ভালো লাগবে আগুনের পরশমণি ছোঁয়াও প্রাণে এ জীবন পূর্ণ করো এ জীবন পূর্ণ করো এ জীবন পূর্ণ করো এ জীবন পূর্ণ করো দহ আমার এই দেহ খানি তুলে ধরো তোমার ওই দেবালয়ের প্রদীপ করো আমার এই দেহ খানি তুলে ধরো তোমার ওই দেবালয়ের প্রদীপ করো নিশিদিন আলোক শিখা জলুকানে জলুকানে এ আগুনের পরশমণি ছোঁয়াও প্রাণে আধারের গায়ে গায়ে পরশতব সারা রাত ফোটাক তারা নব নব আরো দৃষ্টি হতে ঘুচবে কালো যেখানে পড়বে সেথা দেখবে আলো নয়নের দৃষ্টি হতে ঘুচবে কালো যেখানে পড়বে সেথায় দেখবে আলো ব্যথা মোর উঠবে জ্বলে ঊর্ধ্বপানে ব্যথা মোর উঠবে জ্বলে ঊর্ধ্বপানে এ আগুনের পরশমণি ছোঁয়াও প্রাণে এ জীবন পূর্ণ করো এ জীবন পূর্ণ করো এ জীবন পূর্ণ করো
দিদি অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ এত সুন্দর আপনি আমাদের সামনে পরিবেশন করলেন এবং আই এম রিয়েলি অনার্ড বিনোদ ভাই খুব ভালো লাগলো সো ফ্রম Barak Valley to Bangladesh, now we come to our state Assam, and who better can represent here than Sunita Bhuiya. I always say she is an ambassador for the state with her violin and vocal. The range in which she performs the Indian classical, the Western, the fusion, and in all these last few years, she has done some wonderful work, not the music remaining only music per se, but music as a therapy, music as a motivation, all of that. You know, she travels, she works very hard behind all her efforts. And the example is she landed here at 5 o'clock this evening, and she'll take a flight at 4 a.m. in the morning, because she's going to Nasik to perform, and today morning she performed in Mumbai. So that's her spirit, but more than all of that, Sunita was always someone that Joyeeta looked up to. And the last gift that anybody gave to Joyeeta was Sunita. So, you know, you have always been special, Sunita, and thank you for being here. I know you will take a few minutes, but this time I'll be very to cover this time, but I still have a lot of special people here. I wanted to call on Mr. Sanjay Joshi, the chairman of ORF, where Joyeeta worked, the only organization that she worked for 15 years. That was Observer Research Foundation, a class institute in its own right, representing the Indian aspiration, the research, the quality research, the level of engagement, everything, so as India moves forward, ORF has always played a great role, and Mr. Joshi has been always an inspiration, and personally to Joyeeta, he has been very affectionate and always very encouraging, and much he has attained because he has been behind. So, sir, I would want you to tell a couple of lines still there.
Thank you, Subimal, for doing this. Thank you for getting us all together this evening. What does one say about Joyeeta? I don't know, Subimal, whether you know that Joyeeta and I joined ORF a few months apart. She actually preceded me by about 3 months. So she was my senior in ORF. And when I joined ORF as a senior fellow, I think one of the first persons I met was her. And Joyeeta being Joyeeta, she made you feel so warm and welcome wherever you went. And her infectious smile, her laughter, which everybody remembers. We lost her. ORF lost a scholar. ORF lost more than a scholar. What was special about Joyeeta was that she did not bring the traditional international relations look into what she was doing on Bangladesh. Whether it was Bangladesh, whether it was the entire Northeast arc, which we went to her from time to time whenever we had issues, she always brought a very different perspective. She went beyond the protocols which people signed. She went beyond the meetings and the newsies items which used to keep on coming out. She would always write from her heart about issues, problems, which rose from the bottom up. So her writing was, in a way, very different from what other people would be writing about the same issues. So that was, I think, Joyeeta's strength. Her strength was that she did not come from the traditional field of international relations, and that she made into a speciality. That is why we remember her. But we remember her for something more. See, Joyeeta connected people. She could connect people in ways that very few of us could do. And she had that ability. The ability to empathize, to get close to people, to make them feel at home, and that astounding ability to always put others first. Now, that is something which built up that community of friends across countries, across states, across nations, and that has brought us all together. Now, we are all part of that Joyeeta community. And thank you for getting us together to actually, I would say, remember her and enjoy this evening. Because ultimately about Joyeeta was all about life. It was about joy, about laughter. And we are here today, thank you, basking in the afterglow of her smile, which we will always remember. And with Joyeeta, I will always remember the happy moments, the sunny days, the bright days. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Well, another person, who has very fond memories of Joyeeta, and someone who has a lot of affection, and I never knew her till she sent me a message on Twitter. And she's the ambassador of Lithuania in India. So, Excellency Diana, I would want you to speak a couple of words.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Subimal, for inviting me to this rather intimate evening of Joyeeta's friends. I'm very blessed and happy to be counted among those. And I use this opportunity, first of all, to express my deepest sympathy to the mother of Joyeeta and mother-in-law, whom I never had the opportunity to know before, because I didn't have this opportunity as this tragedy happened. I probably know Joyeeta less than most of you here, but I'm very happy to have this long-lasting memory of a long-lasting connection, which happened, in fact, during my first posting in Delhi 10 years ago, and unfortunately it happened in the last year of my posting, so we didn't really have time to take it forward. That's how, Subimal, you didn't even know about it, but I met her at one of those diplomatic receptions, and I felt that this could have been just another fleeting, meeting. You meet so many people, so many interesting people, but it was not. It was much more than a fleeting meeting, because even when I left India, we kept in touch. She would send me links to her latest, publications, and I would admire the record of her classical dance. An extremely talented musical person. Also, when we met, I think what helped us connect was that I was just back from my most memorable trip in Assam, where me and my family and two small kids traveled on that narrow gauge train, which is no more, from Silchar to Lamding, and stopped at Haflong. So it immediately connected us, because I was still under very deep impression. I left a piece of heart in Assam, and I'm very lucky to be included in that third, part of today's evening, which is Assam. So, of course, it was a very shocking news when I actually saw your picture. I couldn't believe. I thought it was some mistake of Subimal holding her hand. And while, you seem to be, it was the darkest of the pandemic, so many of us lost dear friends, but it was something that shocked me very much. So the first thing I did when I landed here in Delhi as ambassador for this posting 5 months ago, I texted Subimal on whatever contact I had. That was just his Twitter account. Luckily, he did not deactivate, his message function. And that's how we're here. I came back, I found many of the friends here, and I'm very sad to say that Joyeeta is not here. It's someone I would miss. And I thank you very much. I really admire your, spirit to collect us all together for this musical evening, which I'm utterly enjoying, and I think Joyeeta is enjoying, because while I'm very much aware that Joyeeta in Bengali means, victorious, and it's a different root, but for me, as an English speaker, Joyeeta comes from the word joy, because that's what she was, and that's how I will remember her. So thank you very much, and let's enjoy it like Joyeeta would have enjoyed.
Thank you, Excellency, for a kind word. So over to Sunita.
Violin on monitors, please. Violin and monitors. वायलिन बढ़ाइए मॉनिटर्स में. Violin on monitors, please. Thoda reverb, little bit of reverb on the violin. Check, check.
वक्रतुण्डा महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा।
A very good evening to all of you. Actually, I do not have many words to say on this occasion, but I really resonate with each one of you who spoke about my dear friend Joyeeta. What a beautiful way to celebrate a life that was always meant for joy, for the arts, always celebrating India and its different colors, and always being there for friends and family. Hats off to you, Subimal, for putting this evening together. It's rarely that God gives one strength to deal with a loss, unparalleled loss like this in such a beautiful way, because memories live on. Hence, our performance today is to celebrate the life of Joyeeta, the love that she shared with Subimal over the 20 years and with the entire family and all of us. Violin on the monitors, please, and a little bit reverb. Thank you. Thank you. This piece was always Joyeeta's favorite, Bharat Darshan. It is my favorite piece too. I've never ever performed anywhere without playing this piece, which was taught to me by our Guruji, my mother's Guru, Pandit V.G. Jog. And he gave us the frame and said, keep adding on places that you visit. It's a tour of India called Bharat Darshan. Music from the mountains, from the deserts, from the northeast, where we come from the rivers, valleys, and the beauty of India. In Rag Desh, a tour of India in Rag Desh. Little more reverb, slightly more reverb on the violin.
पहाड़ी धसा सा सा रे मा गरे सा धसा सा सा रे पा म गरे सा धसा सा सा मा गरे सा धसा सा सा रे पा म गरे
the Kirtan of Bengal, all in the 7 notes. Ma ga ma pa 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 da pa da ma da pa da ma pa ga ma pa ni ni da pa pa da ma pa ma pa da ma da pa da ma pa ga ma pa ni ni da pa pa da ma pa pa ma ga ma da da ni pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga ma da da ni pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga ma pa 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 da ni da. Deserts in the west.
तो लाज के मारी हो गई पानी पानी। सब लोगों ने सुन ली मेरी प्रेम कहानी। मुँह से बात निकल गई बात बात माँ बात बात। छनन नन चूड़िया छनन नन चूड़िया खनक गई एक साहिबा चूड़िया खनक गई। हाथ माँ मोरनी बाहा माँ बोले आधी रात। From the deserts in the west to Assam in the northeast. Bholu ka bahore aakhi oi moina oi bholu ka bahore oi aakhi bata purkhune
मॉनिटर्स में तबला बढ़ाइए. आई थिंक सतीश जी आपको तबला सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है, तो बोलना पड़ेगा. तबला बढ़ा दीजिए, please. Thank you. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that by the time I arrived, we didn't have the opportunity to do a full sound check. But this is a program which is out of love for Joyeeta and the family. So hope you'll forgive us that we are having to give a few instructions to the sound team. This is definitely Joyeeta's favorite song from our playlist. Burns inspired Tagore. Voice में echo कम कर दीजिए. और level भी एक level कम कर दीजिए. As all of you know, like Bhupenda and Tagore, they all traveled across the world to be influenced by various poets, musicians, artists, compositions. And this song of Tagore was influenced by the first ever rock star of Scotland, the famous poet Robert Burns. And there were two more other songs which has become famous, influenced by Scotland. The Scottish folk song is a sad song which says that how can everyone around feel so happy? How can the flowers bloom so beautifully when I am so sad in my heart? Of course, the Bengali version was a different meaning, and then, like any other beautiful song, Bollywood amalgamates it into one of its very famous movies, and the song also becomes very famous. Ye banks and braes so bonny do, how can you sing so fresh and fair? How can you sing, ye little birds, when I so very full of care? You take my heart, ye warbling birds, pagasa, pagasa, habamagare, garisa, sari, sari gaga pagarisa, departed never Thank you. When we do Tagore, especially when we're talking about Assam, we have to do Bhupenda. The bard of the Brahmaputra shouted at the rivers and said, "Why do you keep flowing when there is so much unrest around you? But you keep flowing and flowing when there is so much degradation in the human race." I'm sure all of you here know about Ganga Behti Ho Kyun. The original one is Burha Luid Buakio, and he was shouting at his own Brahmaputra, the mighty Brahmaputra, the male river, one of the few male rivers in the world. And when it became an anthem, he translated it into Bengali and then to Hindi. But he was influenced by Paul Robson's Old Man River. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a singer. I sing because some of the lyrics are so powerful. I try to express it. So you've got to forgive me, especially after such wonderful two singers have gone and sung on the stage. Yes, we are brave. I'm brave to be singing this, but I have to sing out Paul Robson's English words, moving on to Bhupenda's Hindi powerful lyrics of Ganga Behti Ho Kyun.
You don't say nothing, must say something. The old man river, विस्तार है अपार, प्रजा दोनों पार करे हाहाकार, निशब्द सदा। ओ गंगा तुम, ओ गंगा बहती हो क्यों?
You can sing with me this part.
বিস্তীর্ণ দুপারে অসংখ্য মানুষের হাহাকার শুনিও নিঃশব্দে নীরবে। ও গঙ্গা তুমি, ও গঙ্গা বইছো কেন? मानवता नष्ट हुई, नैतिकता भ्रष्ट हुई, निर्लज्ज भाव से बहती हो क्यों? इतिहास की पुकार करे हुनकार, इतिहास की पुकार को प्रबल संग्रामी, समाजगामी बनाती रही हो क्यों?
like to end with a very short piece. Again, something that Joyeeta always encouraged me, that Sunita, you must do more music from across the world, from Europe. Every time she visited a new country, she would come and share some music from that country. So a short Scottish reel fused with the Assamese Bihu. The world is one, love is universal, humanity is universal, music is universal. Thank you for this beautiful evening. Our performance wouldn't be complete with the wonderful musicians. They're all based in Delhi, and we haven't played for almost 3 months. 2 months we haven't played together. That's Satish Ji on the percussion, Hemanta Saikya on the keys, and Mihir Natta on the tabla. Special thanks to them for coming and playing with me.
What a splendid evening, and as I said, Joyeeta was so fond of you, and you have always been an inspiration to her, that that many things you can do at the same time. Just have your own confidence. So you are, as I say, you are the ambassador of our state all the time, and you are an ambassador of our country through your music and your manners. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as we proceed, we still have 2 more performances. My young nephew, 11-year-old, Kairav, has come from Hyderabad. He was very fond of his mummy, so he said he wants to sing a song. So come over, Kairav, one song, and then we'll give to the Vijit.
Namaste, namaskar. Good evening, my respected ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to sing a song, Yade by Hari Haran, for my beloved Mami. Mami was a really good woman, and her sacrifices were so like when she always used to take care of me. She was kind, and cards and some toys and all that stuff. हैं शिकवे हैं किस्से हैं बातें हैं नगमे हैं शिकवे हैं किस्से हैं बातें हैं बातें भूल जाती है यादें याद आती है बातें भूल जाती है यादें याद आती है ये यादें किसी दिलो जन्म के चले जाने के बाद आती हैं यादें 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 ये जीवन दिल जाने दरिया का है पानी पानी तो बह जाए बाकी क्या रह जाए यादें 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 हैं शिकवे हैं किस्से हैं बातें हैं बातें भूल जाती है यादें याद आती है ये यादें किसी दिलो जन्म के चले जाने के बाद आती हैं यादें 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 दुनिया में होना दुनिया से जाना आओ तो ले आना जाओ तो दे जाना यादें 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 बातें भूल जाती है यादें याद आती जन्म के चले जाने के बाद आती हैं यादें 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 Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Kairav. The last performance here now is by my childhood friend from Haflong, the small hill station in Assam where I was born. Debojit Thausen used to, I saw him first singing in 1981. He was in class 3 and maybe I was in class 2. He has continued music. He's a lawyer, he's a politician, he was a chief executive member of one of the first autonomous district council under the 6th schedule of the constitution. And he's someone who has always encouraged me, Joyeeta, and I could sense his grief, ever since he passed away, and every time we met, I can sense, how he feels my loss. So Barak Valley, Bangladesh, Assam, and then finally to the hills of Assam, the most beautiful hills, the Dima Hasao, and it's over to Debujit. Now, one thing I must also tell, Utpal Bhattacharjee, the well-known filmmaker and critic, is sitting here. He had made a 45-minute documentary on Joyeeta, and initially I had thought that we'll screen it up here, but 45 minutes is quite a lot. But some snippets will show just at the end. But Utpal is also here, and he's one man who has again felt the grief all through, and what a lovely piece of documentary he made. Interviews from friends to family to diplomats to friends outside the country. So we're going to leave you with that YouTube link of that video and some snippets. So over to you, Debujit.
Thank you. It's very difficult to sing in an occasion like this. We are here to remember Joyeeta. We are sad, as well as we have to celebrate her life, her being in the other side, where she is definitely happy. Fondly remember her as a jolly person, intelligent, and overall a very good human being. May God keep you happy wherever you are. My prayers always with Subimal and family. With all the performers before me, so professional, they're really good. I'm just a bathroom singer. I'm here as a friend of Subimal. So I hope you'll not have very high expectations from me. But I must say today, the ladies have outdone the gents. So it's a very nice song from Kishore Kumar, my father's favorite song. He used to say that, sing me this song when I die. I could not do it, but I'll sing today. ये जिंदगी का सफर कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं. जिंदगी का सफर है कैसा सफर कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं. जिंदगी का सफर है ये कैसा सफर कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना. चलते हैं सब मगर कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जान.
का सफर है ये कैसा सफर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। जिंदगी तो बहुत हमने प्यार किया, मौत से भी मोहब्बत निभाएंगे हम, रोते रोते ज़माने में आए मगर हंसते हंसते ज़माने से जाएंगे हम। जाएंगे पर किधर है किसे खबर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। ऐसे जीवन भी है जो जिए ही नहीं, जिनको जीने से पहले ही मौत आ गई। फूल ऐसे भी है जो खिले ही नहीं, जिनको खिलने से पहले फिजा खा गई। है परेशान नजर थक गए चार नजर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। जिंदगी का सफर है ये कैसा सफर, कोई समझा नहीं, कोई जाना नहीं। थैंक यू। It's one of my favorite songs. Originally a Bengali song. Later on, it was sung as a Hindi song in a very popular Hindi movie. कहीं दूर जब दिन ढल जाए, साज की दुल्हन बदन छुराए चुपके से आए, मेरे ख्यालों के आंगन में कोई सपनों के दीप जलाए, दीप जलाए। कहीं दूर जब दिन ढल जाए, साज की दुल्हन बदन छुराए चुपके से आए। कभी यूं ही जब हुई वो जलसा से भर आए बैठे बैठे, जब यूं ही आंखें यूं ही जब हुई वो बैठे बैठे, कभी मचल छुए कोई मुद्र नहीं दूर जब दिन बदल भांगी तोरा धूना भूले जे
हो अंबर से कलवा दिल की बरसा तब की किरण आंसू की गदो असर बरस रंगों के प्यार में तो दिल की बुझा जाए अब तेरा
It's when he used to play in 19, a lovely evening. She would be happy wherever half long.